Hello and welcome to today's guide where I'm going to show you how you can get your Finality's Auger Catalyst. It's the exotic linear fusion that you can get from the newest dungeon, Sundered Doctrine. With that, there is a specific quest that you have to follow in order for you to get your catalyst. Ever since this week, it has been time gated, so this is the third and final week, which means you could grind the entire quest in one day. That also means if you've already gotten everything done up until that third week, I'm gonna have a timestamp on the screen that you can skip to in order to start at that point. If you haven't gotten anything done yet, you can just stick with me right here. Really quick, if you end up finding this guide helpful in any way, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Alright, to start the quest, you're gonna go over to Auger on the tower. She's going to have a quest for you called Drowning Labyrinth. Pick it up and it's going to ask you to run the dungeon from start to finish. Now that you've done your full dungeon run, it's going to bring you to step 2, which is going to say to become initiated and to enter a code, which means you're going to launch the dungeon again. At the very beginning of it, there's actually a hidden base camp, which you're going to be seeing a lot throughout the quest. So just follow my pathway down to the base, and inside is going to be a report paper for you to pick up. If you look up to the wall right in front of you, you're going to see a wheel with a bunch of symbols. You're going to walk up to that wheel and you have to put in 3 different symbols and activate it. These symbols are never going to change, so go ahead and shoot Savathun, Entrance, and lastly Pyramid. Then you can walk up to that podium in front of you and activate it, and this will bring you to step 3. The quest will now ask you to find 3 of Rogue's worms and steal Dread knowledge. We're gonna only worry about the worms at the moment, so go ahead and turn around and exit those big doors, and you're gonna run along this very long bridge. At the end of it, you're gonna drop down into this hole in the wall, and in front of you a door will open. Inside, a worm's gonna be laying on a table that you can pick up. Also, please keep note on what symbol is on the wall. Every worm room has a symbol inside, and we are gonna need it later on. However, if you don't feel like paying attention to it, that's okay because the symbols are the same for everyone. Which means I can just give you the symbols once we need them. Also, really quick, if you're trying to leave this room, just jump up. I was stuck there for a bit. The second worm is located right after you've gone through the maze and you get greeted by this very big open area. If you want to, you could just follow my pathway to take you to the worm room. Basically, you can take the same pathway as you usually do. Here, I'm going to look at the exit room. You're not going to walk down that bridge. Instead, you're going to keep running down until you get to the other side on the other bridge, and that door is going to take you to the worm. Except that this door, you are going to have to shoot in order for it to open and then just run through to pick up the worm inside. The third worm for now is going to be inside this lantern room. I like to call this the intermission room. This is a room between the second and the third encounter. I recommend finishing off the lantern mechanic just so that there's no enemies that will end up killing you. But basically when you're inside this room, you're going to make a right and you're gonna just climb up on the second floor. Up there, you're gonna see the worm symbol against the wall, and to the left of it is a little ledge that you can jump into. Activate it to open the door where you can find your worm inside. Now, before you do anything else, I highly recommend you go all the way up to the boss room, switch to a different character, and grab a checkpoint. This is going to save you some time later on. Now, when you look at your quest, you have the 3 out of 3 worms completed, and you just have to steal the Dread knowledge, which means you have to restart this entire dungeon. Head back down to the base camp where the wheel is located, and you're going to put in 3 different symbols again. This time it is going to be Witness, Gives, Darkness. Then go ahead and activate it right in front of you. If you're wondering where these symbols came from, those are all the 3 symbols that you found inside the worm rooms in order. But you still have to steal the Dread knowledge, so go ahead and do the dungeon like you normally would. Eventually you'll come across this room that has a bunch of Dread enemies and a subjugator in it. It's the room where you're supposed to exit through a waterfall. However, instead of leaving, you're gonna stay in this room because there's an orange glowing plate right where the subjugator spawns in. That means there's a bunch of weavers that you have to kill, and they drop knowledges just like the ones from the wizards. Pick up the knowledges and go back to the plate, stand on it until all of your knowledges on the left side has disappeared. And you're going to keep doing that until the plate is completely full. When it is, a door is going to open right next to the plate, run inside up to the podium and activate it. You're now going to be on step 5 on the quest, which is going to ask you to complete the entire dungeon. This is why I told you to save a checkpoint at boss encounters. So go ahead and load up that checkpoint, complete the dungeon, and at the end when you pick up the chest, you're gonna be at quest step number 6. That means we're gonna have to pick up another report at base camp and find 3 more worms. So as always, you're gonna relaunch the dungeon and head over to base camp. Make your way down there, and this time the report papers are going to be on these boxes in the middle. Again, the symbols on the wall are going to be important, but don't worry about it if you don't want to remember them. I can just tell it to you once we get there. Proceed throughout the dungeon until you make it to this area, and here you're going to be finding the 4th worm. So you're going to jump up on that moving door, run inside, run around a corner, and the very first hole that you see, take that one downwards, and once you're at the bottom, you'll immediately see it pop up that you can activate something, and when you do, turn around and a door opens right behind you with the worm inside. Worm number 5 is after the first encounter when you take that gigantic slide downwards that has a pit in the middle, and hopefully you didn't fall off, and if you didn't, there is actually a block that you can jump on the other side of the wall, and when you jump onto it, it is going to lower down pretty slowly and open up a doorway for you so you can grab the worm. Moving on to worm number 6, which is located after the second encounter. Once you get to this area that has a few ads as well as a gigantic worm that you're actually going to use to jump up on the next platform. Once you're up there, you can position yourself to jump across, but instead of up, you're just going to jump across. Walk behind this corner, and to the right side of the wall is a hidden door that you have to shoot in order to open. Inside is the final worm for now. It is time to restart the dungeon once again. Head over to the base camp right where the giant wheel is at, because we're going to put in a new code, which is Hive Grief Worm. Next, you're going to continue on with the dungeon until you make it past the second encounter and come across this room. Once you are in this room that has the worm symbol on the side of the wall, you may notice that there's a bunch of shriekers around you. Once the ads are dead, you're going to be able to shoot some of the shriekers as well, and when they're dead, a Wormcradle Knight is what his name is going to appear. So backtrack a little bit to where you came from, drop down to a ledge where you can find him. When you kill him, you can pick up the worm that he drops. Your goal now is to bring that worm someplace different, so you could just follow my pathway if you'd like. I'm basically jumping all the way back up, just be careful with some of the shriekers. And also pay attention on the timer on the left side of your screen. You only have a certain amount of time before the worm explodes. You're gonna jump across the platform, and inside the next one, make a left, run down the hallway, deposit your worm. It's going to explode and reveal a doorway for you. Inside, you can activate the podium. As always, you have to finish the entire dungeon, so go ahead and defeat the boss. We are now officially at week 3 on the quest line, which is step number 9, and it's asking you to become initiated, find the last 3 worms, and find a controlled chamber. First, we're going to pick up the report paper, so launch the dungeon, make your way down to the base camp, and this time on the left side of the room, you'll find them laying on a table. The 7th worm is located in this waterfall exit room. Run towards the middle and jump on the small right platform, then jump on the higher one, and then you're going to jump to the top left. Keep running and then jump towards the hole in the wall in the middle. You're gonna have to shoot the door in front of you to open it all the way, and then inside you can pick up the worm. Worm number 8 is a fun one, which is found in this area that has that gigantic spiky ball rolling down. Take those side ledges and keep jumping up, this time all the way until you make it to the very top. When you do, there's going to be a hidden door on the left side of the wall that you can activate, open the door, and grab your worm. The final worm is after the second encounter. Once you have finished rotating all those lamps back and forth to open up the next doorway, you're gonna run inside and kill all the ads. After they're dead, you can just follow me, run all the way to the other side of the room where there's another block where you can jump on and it slowly lowers it, giving you access to collect your last one. For the last time, you're gonna restart the dungeon again. Make your way to the camp where you're gonna enter 3 more symbols on a wheel, which are going to be Guardian, Knowledge, Fleet. Now we've got 2 more things to do. Complete the entire first encounter, and then after you've made it through the maze and you're in that big open area, you're gonna have to do a mechanic. You probably want to kill as many enemies as you can. However, the goal in this section is to find the starting point of the light beam, loop it around the entire place until it reaches a certain door to open it. You're gonna find the starting point of the light beam, which should turn on itself, and it's going to be close to the door that you usually take to exit this room. But the light beam shooting to the next frame actually has a missing lens. There's going to be a bunch of knights that spawn around the entire area. They are called light bearers. You're gonna have to kill them so they drop you a lens and you can place it on the empty one. For the most part, you have to rotate these lamps 1 time to let them shine into the correct direction. There isn't really a wrong pathway to take, but if you realize that the light shines into nothingness, you may have to rotate it just once and it will bring you to either another mirror or a frame that has a missing lens. After you have the light beam shining around the entire middle platform and you have it towards the door is going to open, revealing 3 symbols on a podium. Just walk up to it and activate it. Now you're just gonna proceed the dungeon as you normally do. Do not restart it, just complete the second encounter and then the third encounter. Once you have defeated the boss, there is this gigantic red door right by the chest. Just wait there. There's gonna be a bunch of symbols that appear along the door and those are the keys to open it. So you just have to have some patience. After it's open, run inside and get your final chest. This one is going to drop you your catalyst. And congratulations, you have it completed. I know this was a lot of dungeon runs. By the way, make sure you go talk to Ikora again on the tower so you can officially end your quest. I hope you enjoy your brand new catalyst for your Finality's Auger. It is basically bait and switch and honestly sounds pretty good. Thank you so much for coming in and watching my guide. I seriously hope this was easy to follow and helped you out a lot. And please, if it did, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. It would mean so much to me. I will either see you in a future live stream on Twitch where I've been doing a bunch of dungeon raffles or in another video. Bye!